Hey, thank you so much for joining my YouTube channel. Oh my God. You need to sign up, subscribe, right? Do that right out of the gate, because this is seriously fun, super fun, but also really helpful stuff that we talk about here, and starting a new series called Love Vision. And I really, just real honestly, Holy Spirit's been dealing with me a lot about the way I see things. So I was thinking about it in relation to my perspective, my outlook. And in 1 Corinthians 13, verse 12, and 1 Corinthians 13 is the chapter we know kind of as the love chapter, because that's where it defines love is and love is not. And it talks about, how love lasts and love endures. But at the very end of the chapter, Paul, who's the author, he says this: "For now we see through a mirror dimly, but then face to face." And I started thinking about how I see things, my perception. And this has been really interesting to me, because one of the first things that kind of popped into my mind is, I remember, if you're like me, we have windshield wipers, and it's, sometimes in the wintertime when we get splash and mud and snow and all that stuff, because I live in Colorado, you have windshield wipers and you use windshield fluid to wash off the windshield. Because if you can't see through the windshield, then, you're going to have a wreck. But I remember one time, and I've been careful to keep the windshield fluid up, so we have enough and whatever. But I remember one time I was all concerned about the outside of my windshield. But I stopped for fuel and I was cleaning the outside, and then I took one of those little paper towels, and I started to do the inside. And I was shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, who knew there was such a film on the inside? And I think that's interesting, because I think sometimes if we don't have love as our filter, we don't realize that what's inside of us is obscuring, can be kind of dirty, or can make something unclear the way we see things. So we see through a glass dimly, and without love as our filter, I don't think we see things accurately, because genuine love, one of the descriptions here is that genuine love celebrates truth. And if we don't have love as kind of the filter through which we see people, through which we look through life, then I think that our vision, our perspective, our point of view can get murky and cloudy and tainted, distorted. And sometimes we think that the problem sometimes will be on the outside, right? Because we're like, well, it's that person, they're mean, or that person, they said da da da. But I don't think that we always see things accurately, because internally we have some distortion. We don't have love as our filter. We don't see through the lens of love. So that's what we're talking about in this series. And you're like, well, how would that look? How do you do this? And I want to encourage you to keep watching, because every week we're going to do a new lesson in this series, and it will be super, super helpful to you. And of course, I want you to leave some comments, some, thumbs up, thumbs down. Obviously, you need to subscribe. And clearly, no pun intended, because of your perspective. I know. But I have a great joke for you. And this is obviously how we finish, because you guys love these jokes. So here you go. What do you call a dad who falls through the ice? A popsicle. I know. Next week's joke will be way better. Thanks again for watching.